Beneil Dariush has shared an intriguing take on a potential challenger for Islam Makhachev, and it might not be who you'd expect. Makhachev, the reigning UFC lightweight champion, has solidified his dominance in the division. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe and click the bell icon so you never miss an update. Recently setting the record for the most successful title defenses. While many view Arman Tsarukyan as the most formidable threat to Makhachev's reign, Dariush believes there's another name that could shake things up: Max Holloway. Makhachev was initially slated to face Tsarukyan at UFC 311, but plans changed when Tsarukyan was sidelined with a back injury. Instead, Makhachev took on Mateusz Gamrot and made quick work of him, securing a submission victory in the first round and further cementing his position as the king of the lightweight division. Despite his continued dominance, the idea of Max Holloway stepping up to challenge Makhachev has sparked a fascinating conversation. Speaking on SiriusXM Fight Nation's MMA Today, Dariush outlined why he believes Holloway's unique skill set could pose significant problems for the lightweight champion. "You know who would be interesting? Max Holloway," Dariush said. "I think Max Holloway could be an interesting fight for Makhachev because he's hard to hold down, he has excellent cardio, and he throws a lot of volume. I think these are things that could be difficult for Makhachev." Dariush went on to compare Holloway's relentless pace and conditioning to fighters like Merab Dvalishvili, noting how cardio can be a game changer in high-stakes matchups. "If you watch Merab, he has incredible cardio, and he was able to do so much because of that. I can't remember the last time I saw Holloway slowing down in the 4th or 5th round. He's built for those championship rounds, and that could be a problem for Makhachev." However, Holloway's recent performances add complexity to the discussion. The former featherweight champion, widely regarded as one of the best boxers in UFC history, suffered the first knockout loss of his professional career in his bid to reclaim the featherweight title. In a high-profile showdown against Ilia Topuria, Holloway was stopped in the 3rd round, with El Matador's precise boxing proving decisive. So what does this mean for a potential matchup against Makhachev? While Holloway's striking pedigree and volume could present a new challenge, questions remain about whether he could handle Makhachev's relentless grappling and takedowns. Could Holloway fend off Makhachev's suffocating pressure long enough to keep the fight standing? And if so, would his striking be enough to truly test the lightweight champion? It's a tantalizing matchup to think about. Max Holloway moving up to 155 pounds to face Islam Makhachev would undoubtedly bring fireworks. But could Holloway's heart, cardio, and striking prowess be enough to dethrone a dominant champion? Or would Makhachev's wrestling and all-around skill set prove too much for the Hawaiian legend? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Would this be a fight you'd want to see? How do you think it would play out? As negotiations for Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall continue, UFC fans and analysts are buzzing with excitement about what could be one of the most significant heavyweight title fights in years. But for a mega event of this magnitude, the co-main event must be equally electrifying. Enter Charles "Do Bronx" Oliveira and Max "Blessed" Holloway, a potential rematch that has the MMA world salivating. Former middleweight champion Michael Bisping has already pitched the idea, calling it the perfect addition to what could be a blockbuster card during International Fight Week. Bisping believes this fight has everything needed to complement the heavyweight clash. Two of the most beloved and exciting fighters in UFC history, a BMF baddest motherfucker belt on the line, and a storyline steeped in history and redemption. "I, for one, sign off on this fight," Bisping said enthusiastically. "I love Charles Oliveira. I love the fact that he wants to stay active, and I love Max Holloway. He's an absolute legend of the sport. This rematch during International Fight Week put it as the co-main event to Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall. My God, this one would be an absolute blockbuster." The intrigue behind Oliveira versus Holloway 2 isn't just hype, it's grounded in history. The two first squared off in 2015, but the fight ended in heartbreaking fashion when Oliveira suffered a rare esophagus injury, forcing an abrupt stoppage. Fast forward a decade, and both fighters have ascended to legendary status, consistently competing at the highest level and fighting for UFC gold in recent years. Charles Oliveira, the former lightweight champion, remains one of the most dangerous finishers in MMA history. His relentless pursuit of greatness and willingness to fight anyone, anywhere has endeared him to fans worldwide. Meanwhile, Max Holloway, a former featherweight champion and fan favorite, is known for his unmatched striking volume, grit, and larger-than-life personality. Adding fuel to the fire, both fighters have already shown interest in making this rematch happen. Oliveira has openly called out Holloway, expressing his Khabib's desire for a BMF showdown, especially if the lightweight champion Islam Makhachev is unavailable. Holloway, always game for a challenge, responded positively to Oliveira's challenge, making it clear he's open to fighting during International Fight Week. This potential matchup isn't just about the BMF belt, it's about legacy. Both men are cementing their places as two of the greatest to ever step into the octagon, and a fight between them promises fireworks. Their striking, grappling, and warrior spirits are a recipe for an unforgettable battle. Imagine this: the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, packed to the brim during International Fight Week. The air is electric as Jon Jones and Tom Aspinall prepare to face off for the undisputed heavyweight title. But just before that, Charles Oliveira and Max Holloway step into the cage to settle unfinished business. The stakes, glory, respect, and the coveted BMF title. If this fight gets the green light, it's safe to say fans are in for an unforgettable night of MMA action. Two legends, one rematch, and a card for the ages. What more could you ask for? In a recent appearance on a popular Georgian podcast, Ilia Topuria, also known as El Matador, didn't hold back as he unleashed a fiery tirade against former lightweight champion Khabib Nurmagomedov. While their relationship has been tense in the past, this marks the first time Topuria has outright disrespected Khabib, even going so far as to call him a coward and compare him to a woman. Unsurprisingly, these explosive comments have ignited significant controversy, particularly in Georgian media. The podcast conversation initially began with the hosts discussing why Khabib never made the jump to the welterweight division during his career. They speculated that Khabib might have avoided this move because he wouldn't have been able to dominate fighters like Kamaru Usman, who reigned supreme at 170 pounds during that time. The discussion also touched on the idea that Khabib preferred to play it safe and didn't like taking unnecessary risks. At first, Ilia remained silent, listening to the debate unfold, but as the conversation progressed, he eventually chimed in and made his feelings known. According to Topuria, he once held immense respect for Khabib, viewing him as a man of his word and a figure who embodied traditional values. But that respect began to erode when Khabib, who had initially announced his retirement from MMA with no plans of ever returning, later expressed openness to a comeback if offered $100 million. When Khabib first announced his retirement, "I respected him," Ilia began. He said he wouldn't return for anything. He seemed like a man of honor, someone who stood by his word. But then, when he was offered $100 million, he was suddenly open to the idea of coming back. That's when I lost respect for him. To me, that's not the behavior of someone who stays true to their principles. It's cowardly. Topuria then went on to share his perspective on why Khabib might have retired in the first place. "Let me tell you what it is," Ilia explained. "When Khabib announced his retirement, he was in the middle of a brutal weight cut. Of course, in that moment, he didn't want to fight anymore. He was exhausted. But once the fight was over and he returned to his normal routine, I believe he would have been open to continuing his career. It's like asking a woman who just gave birth if she wants another child. In the moment, she'll probably say no, but give her some time and she might change her mind." Ilia didn't stop. He criticized Khabib's fighting style, dismissing his infamous claim of dragging opponents into deep waters and drowning them. "Khabib always says he takes his opponents to deep oceans and drowns them there," Ilia said. "Well, I grew up in those oceans. With all the experience I have now, I'm confident I'd drown him in those same waters today." Throughout his tirade, Ilia avoided mentioning the real reason behind Khabib's decision to retire: the tragic passing of his father, Abdulmanap Nurmagomedov. Abdulmanap's death played a pivotal role in Khabib's choice to step away from the sport, as he had promised his mother he wouldn't continue fighting without his father by his side. However, Topuria didn't address this deeply personal aspect of Khabib's retirement, choosing instead to focus solely on what he perceived as a lack of integrity. These comments have already caused a stir within the MMA community, with fans and analysts alike debating whether Ilia's remarks were fair or crossed a line. Regardless, one thing is clear: Topuria's bold statements are bound to keep him in the spotlight and add fuel to the ongoing conversation about Khabib's legacy and career choices. Thanks for tuning in. If you're as intrigued by this potential clash as we are, drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more breaking MMA news and updates. Stay tuned. You won't want to miss what's next.